Mr. Melvin Yong. Question 23.
Question 23.
Mr. Speaker, with your permission, I would like to take questions 23 to 27 together, please.
Yes, please.
Sir, I thank members for their questions following the Prime Minister's announcement at the National Day rally that MOM will be studying the issue of self-employed persons and their relationship with the platform companies. In 2020, about 190,000 persons were engaged in self-employment as their main source of income, of which about 79,000 worked with matching platform companies. Among such platform workers, about half are private hire car drivers and one-third are taxi drivers. The rest are mostly car and light goods vehicle drivers who use delivery service platforms to obtain delivery work. From 2018 to 2020, the median monthly income of full-time employed residents in these three occupations ranged between $1,500 and $2,000. To Mr. Melvin Yong's question on the number of injuries and fatalities suffered by food and goods delivery riders, the number of fatalities has remained low. In 2019 and 2020, there were 2 fatalities each year. In 2018, the first year that we started tracking this, there was 0 fatalities. We do not currently have data on traffic-related injuries suffered by these delivery riders. The work arrangements of platform workers can resemble those of employees. The platform companies set a price for their product, determine which jobs are assigned to which workers, and manage how the workers perform, including imposing penalties and suspensions. Most platform workers earn a modest income, even before the impact of COVID-19, and may find it harder to afford housing, healthcare, and retirement. Because their contracts with platform companies are not employment contracts, they do not have basic job protections that most employees enjoy, such as work injury compensation, union representation, and employer CPF. This is a concern, as more people take up such work, and some at a young age as well. To look into strengthening protections for platform workers, specifically delivery riders, private hire car drivers, and taxi drivers, and ensuring a more balanced relationship between platforms and platform workers, an advisory committee will be convened. The committee will need time to consult widely with stakeholders and study these issues carefully before making its recommendations. The points raised by members will be shared with the advisory committee so they can take them into account when studying these issues. Thank you, sir.
Ms. Yeo Wan Leng.
Thank you. I note through my MPS interactions with delivery riders that many have started to make longer-term financial arrangements such as medical, retirement insurance, and the purchase of housing, especially with HBL loans from the HDB. Given the instability of the evolving platform gig model with shifting incentive structures, they are worried about the long-term viability of their financial commitments. Would the Minister for Manpower consider looking into setting up longer-term safety nets for platform workers, with gig platforms taking on more responsibility for their delivery partners, and perhaps for more of the matured platforms, a certain guarantee of level of jobs received? I note too that many of the platforms are largely commercially viable due to compliance and cooperation of their delivery partners.
So I think these are important considerations and stressors that actually our workers face, which I'm sure the committee will take that feedback from the member into account and deliberate on this, striking a good balance between maintaining flexibility of work while ensuring some degree of protection and stability for their longer-term needs, whether it's housing or retirement. The committee hasn't quite really begun its work, so I don't want to prejudge deliberations, but I think the members' feedback will be useful. And I do note that the member is going to be on the committee, so I hope she will bring this up as a point of discussion as well. We can deliberate this further. Thank you.
Dr. Tan Wu Meng.
I thank the SMS for his answer. I've met a number of brothers and sisters in Clementi who work in the gig economy, including as delivery riders. So I have two supplementary questions. First, Mr. Speaker, can MOM share whether MOM will consider requiring the gig platforms to report instances of injuries when the worker is injured in the course of their gig economy work? Although the fatalities are documented, as in the minister's answer, for every fatality, there may have been a serious injury, a near miss sometime before. This data would be useful. The second question pertains to the workers who lost their lives in the course of doing their gig economy work, as the minister mentioned in his answer earlier. Does the ministry have information on what compensation and support was provided to the families of these workers who lost their lives? And was that support comparable to similar accidents taking place in delivery firms where the worker had an employee relationship with the employer? Thank you very much.
So I thank the member for his two questions. Indeed, workplace injuries and the kind of compensation that gig workers may need to have is something that we will ask the committee to study further, relating to workplace injury compensation, for example, something which today under the Employment Act, other employees would have enjoyed. So I think this is an issue, a serious one, because these drivers do go around many places, sometimes many trips a day as well. So they are constantly exposed to the risks on the road. So I think looking at how we can actually better protect them from workplace injuries and also compensation would be something that the committee would want to deliberate on. On his second question of whether those who have suffered fatality as a result of gig work, whether they do enjoy the same level of compensation, I'm afraid I don't have information for that. But suffice to say that today they are not treated as employees. So I would imagine the amount of compensation, if there is, would not be commensurate with what employees would probably get under the Employment Act as well. So again, these are issues that we will want to study further with the committee and in engagement with the platform companies as well to see how they can also continue to function as a good employer, to be able to make their business sustainable while ensuring a safe workplace, but also attracting good workers to continue with them for the longer term.